What's going on, guys? It's Trevor with Embers Living. Today we have a new product review, another Kamado. We review a lot of Kamados here, don't we? You sick of Kamado grilling? Or you like it?
I love it.
You love it?
Yeah.
All right, well, this is new. This is a cast iron. This is made by Golden's Cast Iron is what it's called. Should we talk about it? Let's go. All right, make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. We always like to start with that because you would be surprised how helpful it is if you guys can subscribe and turn on notifications, stay in touch with our videos. It really helps us with YouTube to be able to continue to make videos like this, so make sure you do that. Also, if you're in the Denver, Colorado area, come to our showroom today. You can see these products in person for yourself. Got to take care of a little business first. What am I rocking today? What do I got? You don't know your sneakers? No? Got the Jordan 3s, retro, white, and mocha. Not an original colorway from the 80s, but a rock solid retro. That's actually a pretty old retro color from the early 2000s. So for all you sneakerheads out there, I should start a separate sneakers channel, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people will watch that. There's probably not a lot of carryover from my barbecue channel to my sneaker channel though, huh? No, different audience, but if you're interested, that's what I'm wearing today. All right, let's talk about it. Enough of that. So we got the Golden Cast Iron. I think it goes without saying, what is it made of?
Cast iron.
Cast iron. I haven't seen a cast iron Kamado. Now, what would be the advantage of cast iron, you think?
Holds heat better.
Holds heat better. So that could be good or bad with the Kamado, right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Also, what is cast iron? It's very heavy. See, you should start doing these, huh? It is heavy, but it does have a cool spring assist system that we will talk about. But it is, I think that's what I noticed right away. The cart, the Kamado itself, of course, the cooking grates, which we'll talk about. This thing is a beast. Like, this thing is full beast mode. This cart is absolutely rock solid. It is absolutely awesome. These wheels are super sweet. Like, you've heard me complain about like the stuff with the Primo, like their cart and everything. This, you will not have that problem. It is an awesome built machine. It's also made in the United States. So for you viewers out there, that's a big plus for you guys. That's definitely something you ask a lot about. Basically, it comes with two setups. You can do this cart model or more the tabletop model. You know what I like about the tabletop model is they actually give you real estate to work with. Don't you think? Yeah. Most side shelves, you can't even fit like a platter on. You could definitely have like a staging workstation here, which is super sweet. It comes with welding type gloves. Of course, that's gonna be handy. And then it comes with our grate removal tool, which we will talk about in a minute. Let's talk about the hinge a little bit. So let's come back here. This is patented. And let's give them a look at this spring, man. That's no joke. I mean, you need that for cast iron top because this son of a gun is stinking heavy. But as heavy as it is, it definitely lifts light. Like, I mean, it's heavy when it gets back here, and then it's heavy more towards the bottom. But they say, because it's cast iron, this thing is like crazy, crazy durable versus ceramic. You know, you can break ceramic a little bit easier. So you don't have to like baby this down. Apparently, it's kind of annoying the sound, but you can just let that snapshot. Zane, didn't you say the guy was like crazy slamming this thing, the rep? You want to give us a demo of what he did? Why don't you come show us? Because I don't want to be responsible for breaking this thing. Show us how hard. Yeah, like how much can you abuse this thing? Let's see. Whoa, that was loud. Did it break? Should you do it one more time? Can you do it hard? Try harder. Right. Can you do it harder?
Yeah.
You broke it. I'm just kidding. So it obviously is crazy, crazy durable. So that's another advantage with cast iron versus ceramic. And like you talked about, Elijah, it can retain heat. So those are two huge advantages with cast iron is you can obviously use this thing very easily in cold weather climates because it's going to retain and hold heat without big temperature swings. and it's crazy durable. So 2 big advantages. There are some disadvantages with cast iron that I'm a little nervous about. Our rep is gonna be here tomorrow. We're gonna video with him, ask him a couple questions about it, just to get his feedback on it. I'll share those with you in a minute. You can see we do have our temperature probe here, and then I do like their little control tower here. It is completely solid, so it is weatherproof if you had rain or something trying to get in your firebox. So that's completely sealed, and it stays put. I don't know if it stayed put when Zane slammed it, but it will stay in place if you open and close the lid. All right, let's get inside and see what we're dealing with here. Okay, so here's our lifting handle setup, and everything in here is solid cast iron. So you do want a lifting handle. This is heavy, feel that. Can you do that and hold the camera at the same time? Probably not.
I can try.
You can try? It's pretty heavy, huh?
Yeah.
So that's how our cast iron works. So here's our cooking grates. We'll talk about how you can use these in different ways in a second with these cool little stands. But those are, of course, are solid cast iron. And then this is really cool. This is a cast iron plate, but it really does 2 things. One, it's gonna keep direct flame away if you wanna go low and slow. But also, it doubles as a skillet. So you have a cast iron skillet as well. So you can put this on top and just kind of let this baby rip. Also very heavy. Then we have, of course it's made of cast iron. We have a cast iron interior bowl. Again, if you're gonna have thermal damage normally in a ceramic cast iron, it's gonna be in this bowl, not so much on the, it's gonna be in your firebox, I should say, not so much on the bowl itself. So, completely cast with our holes drilled out for airflow on the bottom. What else is really cool? You can see this is completely gasketed. It does have like a little spark arrestor as well. And then we can control our air in and out there as well. Gasket material here, it's solid. Nothing crazy, nothing to write home about, but it's gonna do the job. All right, let's talk about different ways that you could configure this thing. So here is a cook model that's actually been used. So what you could do, we're gonna cook on this tomorrow, so we'll show you that in the video too. So let's take this out for a second, just to show you. Whoa. All right, so this would be example. This is like one of my favorite things when I cook on my Kamado Joe at home. I like the ability to go low and slow here and high heat for searing here. So we can keep our plate, because again, our plate's gonna do 2 things. It's gonna keep direct flame away on the left side, but also, because it's cast iron, it's gonna sit there and retain heat all day long. So what we can do is we could stack these. So it comes with 2, but you could buy a 3rd one. And because of these cool little legs, we could stack them 3 high and we'll still be able to close the lid. So you could do that. Now this would be an awesome setup. That's my favorite configuration right there in Kamado cooking. So if you had a big tomahawk or some steaks here, you can go low and slow here, again, without direct flame. So you can, you know, really get that smoke flavor. And then here, because you have a skillet that's getting hot, it can retain heat, and then you could throw some butter or something delicious down there, and then finish off your steak there. Let's see if it'll actually close though. Sure did, sure enough. So really cool, I do like this combination. But again, you only get 2 of these, so you'd have to buy a 3rd one if you wanted to stack that high. Or again, of course, you could also stack 2 high. All right, I did say I have 2 concerns, or a couple concerns. Let me share those with you, and we'll see if we can alleviate those concerns tomorrow. Here's my concern with cast iron. If you guys have any feedback cooking on these, let us know in the comment section. 1, potential for rust. Now this is powder coated, like an enamel powder coated finish. So I think it'd be pretty well protected, but if this were to ever chip and expose the bare cast iron, I don't know if you'd have potential rust problems there, but it looks pretty durable and heavy duty. This company, all they do is make cast iron equipment. They even sell like cast iron weights and dumbbells for when you're pumping iron. You pump iron a lot, right? Literally pump iron, cast iron. Yeah. So I would think they know what they're doing when it comes to casting. So it would be built in a way to where it's gonna hold up without rust. Another concern, because cast iron retains heat so well, I would be a little nervous. Now this would be more user error than the machine itself. Of course, ceramic does this too. But sometimes if you're not paying attention and you don't have your cooking skills completely dialed in, the heat could get away from you, which means you could really get this sucker ripping. Let's say you want to cook around 250 or so. Let's say you accidentally let it hit 500. Because this retains so much heat, I feel like you'd have an even harder time than ceramic backing it down. It's always hard to back down a Kamado and get that temperature down, but it could be even harder with cast iron. Again, that's not a knock against the product. That's just more knowing how to use your grill. That would be a concern. Last concern, again, it goes to heat retention. I would fear that this thing would get gnarly hot on the outside. So you'd have to be careful with kids around or stuff, but of course if it's emitting heat, shouldn't be too much of a problem, but this bowl could get really hot. Ceramic gets hot, but you could touch it without really crazy burning yourself or having to go to the hospital or something. I'm just wondering how scorching hot the outside of this gets. We'll find out tomorrow. What's up guys? I'm here with Anderson. He's the local rep for these guys here. He's gonna help answer some of those questions. Remember I had a couple concerns. Hopefully you're gonna help put me at ease a little bit here.
Sure thing.
So you've been cooking with him for about 4 years?
About 4 years, yeah.
4 years you've been cooking on these. So one of my concerns was being that it was solid cast iron, what do we have durability wise from a rust standpoint?
Sure. So we have a ductile cast iron grill here. What that means is we've got some magnesium mixed into the metal. So it's much more dense and much less porous than a standard gray iron grill grate. Meaning it's not going to rust nearly as easily. That said, you do want to keep these oiled, just like you would a cast iron skillet. So if you cook at high temperature like we are right now and you're burning oil off the grates, you want to spray some PAM or something on there afterwards just to keep those oiled and make sure they don't get dried. If they do rust out, they're covered under a lifetime warranty, even if you just didn't keep them oiled like you should. But generally, if you just keep them relatively oiled, they're not going to rust on you.
And that applies to the bolt, the firebox, and the cooking grates?
Yeah, so the dome up here is going to get naturally seasoned when you cook. It just gets oil and smoke build up. So I've never had any rust problems out of the dome or the firebox. Because when you're cooking greasy burgers or something, grease is dropping down on that fire bowl and it coats it pretty well.
Okay. And then one of the other concerns, this is more of like a user error, but sometimes with Kamado cooking is if you're not paying good enough attention and the fire can sort of get away from you, being that this cast iron does such a good job of retaining heat, is it hard to bring it back down?
Yeah, and I've found this to be true on ceramic grills as well. If you're trying to slow cook and you get a hot fire going, it's going to take a little bit of time to cool this thing back down. What I usually do is just close both vents for about 20 minutes, and it's going to cool down over that period of time, and then just barely reopen both vents.
Okay, but you don't notice anything considerably longer than a regular like Kamado Joe or ceramic?
I don't.
Okay.
I've overshot it my fair share of times.
Yeah, me too.
It's a pain in the butt, but it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
But as long I was curious if it was a lot worse than a ceramic or right on par with that. Either way, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I'd say it's right on par.
Okay. And then my last question was that I was worried about this getting way too hot, but it's not terrible. What are we sitting at?
We're at 550.
Yeah, I mean you're not gonna go to the hospital. Right? I mean it's hot.
You don't want to touch it, but if you do, it's not the end of the world.
But again, a ceramic gets hot too. You don't notice a huge difference there.
I would say this probably gets a little bit hotter than ceramic, just being honest, but it's not. It's not going to kill you if you touch it.
Right. And you're going to realize pretty quick what mistake you've made.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, Anderson put a lot of our questions at ease. That was good to know. I didn't know that about the cast iron. So it's covered under lifetime warranty anyway. So really no drawbacks here with this guy. Yeah. So that's the Golden's cast iron review. Not a lot of fanciness as far as sizes or combos. It does come in a mini version, but essentially we have 2 cart options. Both bowls are the same size, a little over 20 inches.